Welcome to the RPG Podcast.
And we are live.
Oh, God, Patton!
Presented by SHEATH. A Time Wheel production.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Robert Patton Global Podcast. I'm Bobby the Bank, and I'm here with Director of Fitness at The Mark in New York City, Dan Flores. Thank you for joining me.
Robert, thank you for having me. I appreciate you having the time and making time for me. I'm happy to meet you. Happy to be here. Thanks.
You come highly regarded from a friend of who's like Steven. He's super into fitness, and he was showing me your Instagram, and you'd have some unique techniques for just maybe getting more fit, right? Like the 1 minute pull up. You've been a fitness trainer for over 20 years, and I'm sure you've learned a lot along the way. So we'll start with the 1 minute pull up, like, if you don't mind. Like, what's the deal with that?
So the 1 minute pull up came as a part of a journey that I was on. You know, I was into like traditional strength training as a pro athlete, as a strength coach, and I got into personal training, and after a while I just kind of get bored, and I try to get into like new stuff. Exactly. And I found this stuff called heavy duty training, like Mike Mentor's like heavy duty training. I was just fascinated with the idea that you could like do one set to failure and not have to train for like hours and hours and hours. So I like dove deep into like this whole high intensity training gig, and like basically it's like one set to failure. So you do like 5 exercises for like 3 to 5 minutes per exercise, and then like your workout was over. And I just was just fascinated that you could just do that. And I tried it for a little while, did it for a little while. Fast forwarding to the 1 minute pull up, that always stuck with me, that, you could do something, you could do a set of one thing and like get the biggest bang for your buck if you did like that one set properly. So the 1 minute set was just like a challenge. I was just, filling around on Instagram. I was like, I can do this 1 minute pull up, because what I would do is I would find these guys that could do like 3 and 4 minute pull ups or 3 and 4 minute push ups. So it was just a play on that, just trying to have fun with it. And your buddy saw it, and it kind of caught some momentum. But it was just another way to like kind of skin the cat without lining up and doing the same old 3 sets, 12 reps,
right.
18 reps.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like you're kind of getting away from the routine of working out and kind of mixing it up a little bit and keeping it fresh and fun.
Keeping it fresh, man. Always.
So, and it's not just a 1 minute. You're not doing a minute of pull-ups. You're doing one pull-up, and like, is it 30 seconds up and 30 seconds down? Right. Yeah,
it was a challenge for like a 30 second up, 30 second down. But the spirit of the HIIT training was that you would do a set for 60 to 80 seconds, and you would do like 8 to 10 reps.
Okay.
So like if you broke that down into like seconds per rep, it's like 15 seconds per rep. If you were like being like true to the like methodology, but of course I made my own version of it.
Okay. And so I mean, Steven was telling me about it, and it just like he said his back muscles were just like super shredded from that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I work out, but I'm a little bit like, I have that kind of thin layer of fat. I'm fit, but I'm rarely am I ripped. It's like super hard to lose that. Maybe it's the wine, but there's like a layer.
I did see you take a sip before. I did notice that. I wasn't gonna let that go. I'm into wine as well. We can talk about that later. I was wondering if that was a Cabernet or a Pinot Noir, but
It's a Malbec.
I was close.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it's supposed to be the best one for your heart. And I don't typically drink in excess, but I do like to have a little bit of wine pretty much every day.
Yeah, I was on that too. I was on that kick too, a bottle a day. We can talk about that at some point before we hop off. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Third Eye Cacao. We're so happy to have a brand new sponsor. We want you to support our sponsors because they make these shows possible. Third Eye Cacao is on a mission to preserve ceremonial grade cacao in the world and invite others on a journey from their head to their heart. Cacao is a fruit where chocolate comes from and is one of the most nutrient-dense superfoods on the planet. It has been called the elixir of the gods for its ability to open up the heart. Studies have shown that the same endorphins that get released when you are falling in love for the first time, cacao has the power to induce also. It's like the best feeling in the world, and cacao has that for you here at Third Eye Cacao. Overall, cacao has the powerful ability to begin any day with intention and ceremony. Use promo code TIMEWHEEL, that's TIMEWHEEL, at checkout and save 11% at thirdeyecacao.com. This episode is also brought to you by SHEATH, the underwear of legends. It is the underwear with the dual pouch system. One pouch for one part of the male anatomy, another for the other part of the male anatomy. Not only is the underwear the most comfortable underwear you'll ever wear, but it also has the most stylish designs and patterns. The fabrics actually have a cooling effect when you put them on for the very first time. Your body will thank you because it's one of the hottest parts of your body, so cooling it down with these special fabrics that SHEATH provides is a nice experience. The proof is in the pudding. We have a 100% money back guarantee on the very first pair. If you don't like it, we'll send you your money back. Go to sheathunderwear.com, use promo code RPG and save 20%. We appreciate your support. Back to the show.
Well, so how do you, I mean, is it diet? Is it fitness? Is it, I mean, it's a combination. If someone's trying to cut up, like that's right on the brink ish, what do you tell them to do?
Honestly, it's each person's different, I think, so obviously you have to look at what the person's doing, who they are and whatnot. But I think for the most part, most people are going to run into the food issue, right? It's like that last 200 to 300 calories that the person has to be able to get into a deficit with, right? So that person might be drinking a glass or two too much, right? So that's like 300, 400 calories right there, right? Or they're eating a dessert a little too much, right? 200, 300 calories too much. That's like one approach. My other approach would be to say, all right, well, you can exercise or, burn those 200, 300 off, which is harder, obviously. A lot of people don't really keep that in mind, but it's harder to burn off than it is to not eat, right? It's much easier to not eat a bagel than it is to go run 3 miles, right? Your choice, right? But I think most people fall into the trap of trying to exercise it off, which is a trap.
Yeah, it's you can tell yourself you're going to do it consistently, but then what's going to fall off first is probably the working out and not the eating of the donuts.
Yeah.
I was doing my morning routine. I get my water. I drink about one of these before I kind of start my day. Really, it's like 32 ounces of water, and then a cup of coffee, and then I was having bacon, and because I needed something to wash down the vitamins and everything, and so I wouldn't get an upset stomach. But about in December, I went to the doctor. They said my blood was the cholesterol was a little bit high. So I was like, okay, we'll stop the bacon. And now I'm doing oatmeal in the morning. It's pretty good. And I can tell just from that change from bacon to oatmeal, a pretty significant fitness difference, like a couple inches have been lost. So
I mean, how much bacon were you eating though? I mean, because bacon,
4 or 5 strips.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that'll get you. That's easy, a few hundred calories right there.
Yeah, but it was just bacon, but it was a decent amount of bacon every day. And I would switch it up with turkey occasionally, but still, I guess, I mean, I don't count calories. You know what I mean? It's like, it's too much shit to think about. That's why you need a fitness trainer though, right? Like to kind of go tell you what to do.
But you know what though, Robert, though, there is some value, I think, in people having some experience counting and understanding the value of food, right? It's like people understand the value of money, like how much things cost, right? Clearly, there's no confusion, but rarely, less often do people understand the value of food. Like I have, clients that come to me and they're like I have this new client, he's a young guy in his 30s, and he's like, my girlfriend, she like for breakfast has like an avocado and like, breakfast burritos. And I'm like, dude, that's easily, 800 calories right there. He's like, what? Like how? Like in his mind, it's healthy, right? It's healthy, H-E-H-Y, healthy. But it's like one avocado is 2 servings. Each serving is about 300 calories, right? So it's like if you don't, like you might not be into numbers and counting and all that. I'm not saying that you should, but you should at least have an idea of how much the food you're eating is worth, the value of it, the caloric value. And once you understand it, then you don't have to count, because you can kind of like eyeball it, look at your plate and be like, you know what? This is 4 servings of an avocado. So I'm just going to have a quarter of an avocado as opposed to a whole avocado. Yeah, you'll make smarter choices.
Okay. And that's what you do?
Yeah. Personally, yeah. I mean, I've done like, and I do this with clients too. We kind of like work on like them understanding macros, right? Macronutrients, and like tracking their macros. There's like this expression, if it fits your macros. You may have heard of that acronym, right? It's this idea. Oh, really? So IIFYM, right? If it fits your macros, it's this idea like once you know what your macros are for the day, right? So macronutrients are like carbs, fats, proteins. Alcohol technically is a macro, but you just look at food in the lens of 3 categories or 3 buckets, right? Fat, carbs, and proteins. And then, so if you were my client, I'd say, all right, Robert, you have to eat for the day 100 grams of protein, 300 grams of carbs, and then 70 grams of fat, right?
Okay.
And you would track your food for the day. You use like an app like MyFitnessPal or any other apps that are out there, Fitbit or whatever. And you would input your food like a diary when you ate it, and the app would calculate your macros based on the portions you told it. Then at the end, it would spit out a number, right? So basically, you go through the day adding up all of your macros to get to your target for the day, right? However, which way you get there, it doesn't matter. So if it fits your macros, you could eat pizza, right? If it fits your macros, right? So you could, spend most of your fat and your carbs on pizza, and then be left with protein, right, for the rest of the day. And if you ate food that got you to those macros, you could eat pizza every day. You could eat pie every day, or you could eat egg whites, and you could have bacon every day if it fit into your macros.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So little tidbit. We just got these 4 little chickens, and they're little babies, and we're gonna grow them so we can get eggs. And have you ever had like fresh eggs?
I have. I couldn't tell the difference if I had fresh eggs or not.
Yeah,
but I have at some point.
I've never had fresh eggs to my knowledge. I was looking forward to the awesomeness of the fresh eggs, because you hear about people that hunt. Have you ever hunted?
No, I'm actually due to hunt this summer with a friend, but no, I've never.
Me either. But I feel like the fresh kill and the fresh meat, and it's supposed to have more macronutrients, perhaps. And that's what I'm thinking of with the eggs. the longer they sit on the shelves, maybe they lose some of that energy. But it's all theory in my mind because I don't know.
Did you know? Sorry to cut you off. Did you know? And I just found this out that you don't have to refrigerate eggs.
I just found that out as well. They're natural.
I did not know that.
Yeah, when you get them fresh, I guess they can go unrefrigerated for like weeks. But I'll find out soon enough.
I went to a friend's house once, and it was like a birthday party, and I went to the back to get a drink, and they had all these groceries, like a pantry basically. And I go in the pantry to get a drink, and I look, I'm like, oh, the eggs are out. I'm like, oh, so dude, you left your eggs out? He goes, no, they that's where they stay. I'm like, wait, well, you leave them in the fridge? He's like, no, they've been there for weeks. They're fine. Like,
yeah, what? I think most people probably don't know that. I would imagine most people, especially from New York, might think there's no way.
Definitely, yes. I'm from Brooklyn too, so we definitely don't know anything about that.
Okay, so you were born and raised in New York?
Yeah, I'm born in Manhattan. Literally born in Manhattan, raised in Brooklyn, and I reside in Brooklyn in Bed-Stuy. Bed-Stuy, do or die.
That's wild to me because just to stay in the same place your whole life, but also I'm looking at a mountain and miles of pine tree, the tops of pine trees, and you're in the middle of it. You're in the heart of the city, and that type of upbringing and lifestyle and busy go get 'em sort of energy seems like it could be a lot. Yeah. And
yeah. It's different, man. It's you're talking about looking out the window at the mountain. I'm looking out my window and the back of my neighbor's shared backyard. 4-story building. There's no view unless I go out to the country, and I love it. I love it.
I mean, there's its own skyline, New York City, so I can imagine it being quite energizing. But if that's all you've ever known, right? Then you're used to it, and obviously it's doing something. I mean, people, how is it there now? New York.
Yeah, New York's opening up. It's opening up. It is opened up. Things are booming. Restaurants are booming. Energy's good. Cases are going up. COVID cases. So people are starting to kind of be a little bit more cautious. But in general, overall cases are moderately low, but they're creeping up. The energy's good, man, and people are excited. The city has had a rough stretch with crime, and the subways are really bad, and the homeless problem, and drug. There's a drug gang kind of an issue in some bad neighborhoods throughout the city. And people are really looking for this new mayor to turn things around, because a lot of folks who've been here for a long time are getting reminiscent of the 80s when it was really bad with crime and the city was in bad shape. I don't think we're there, but definitely we got to fix some stuff.
I listened to these two comedians, Mark Norman and Joe List, and they have a podcast called Tuesdays with Stories. And Joe List talks about how the homeless people just come out of the corners and they'll attack you, or just harass you, or yell at you, or do something. He said it's kind of scary at the moment, a little bit. He doesn't want to take.
Where's that?
I think it was the Comedy Stand, the Cellar, there. I don't know where that kind of stuff is.
Where, in New York City?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I ride the subway every day to and from work, and I can just tell you, I've ridden the subway for 20 plus years, going to work. It's never been as bad as I've seen it now, in that the homeless are just on the subway it's their living room, and you'll I step out of my home subway that I take every evening. I step out onto the platform, and it's as if, this is the analogy I tell people, it's as if I stepped into their living room. People are sprawled out, getting comfy, tucked in for the night. They're on iPads. They're all plugged in. it reminds me of like, remember when like you would like be like hanging out with your friends after school and like kids hang out like in packs and like they're like hanging all over each other, like on a stoop or like a stairwell, just a pack of kids, like that's what it reminds me of. Like this band of like homeless people, they just hang out, and this is where they do it. They do drugs, they hang out, they probably do other things, like, but it's wild. You get off the subway after work, you're like, whoa, what did I just walk into?
Freaky.
Freaky.
Yeah, I mean, and I hear San Francisco is very similar, and these are two of the richest cities in the country, in the world. And I think there's something foul at play. They're trying to get everyone to leave New York City so they can kind of restructure it, and same thing with San Francisco. They're trying to get I feel like they're trying to get people to leave so they can rebuild it into smart cities. I heard this conspiracy, and it was
interesting.
Like, they're trying to. You can't ask people to leave. So, like, if you put enough homeless people in the city, enough people will leave to whatever. I'm crazy, but whatever like agenda that the New World Order has in place, they were trying to clear out some of these major markets so that they can do whatever that is that they're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, I would say to that, whether that's true or not, it's an interesting idea. I would say that the thing about New York, unlike other cities, and what my business partner put it so well, is like New York. Because I said to him like over a year ago, like I'm finally bearish in New York City, like crime, like all of the bad things are too bad. Like this is a tipping point. He's like, Dan, New York City is for the cream of the crop. He goes, people will always want to come here. And he's right. Like people left, people left New York, and people just filled their places. Like, I mean, it's still New York, right?
Right.
So that's the X factor that the New World Order hasn't factored in, because people still want to come here. Other people still want to come here.
Yeah. So the void was filled up immediately. How are prices going up or down or staying the same for things like real estate, food?
Inflation is crazy. Inflation is crazy. Like the cost of everything is going up. Home prices up. Thankfully my home is in that up category. So
that's nice.
I'm a beneficiary of that. But
right.
If you're selling, it's a great time to sell. If you're buying, it's tough. The cost of food has gone up significantly. The cost of gas, as most people are experiencing, has gone up a lot. Interestingly enough, I find that at the higher end, things have gone up even more. Like luxury has gone up, and it almost feels like. And again, I'm a luxury good, like personal trainer, training, like in a luxury hotel. But like merchandise, like clothing and like bags and stuff, and like expensive meals, it feels like those have gone up even more than everything else. And it almost feels like they're taking advantage of the fact that there's inflation to like gouge even more. It's like, if you want to buy a Louis Vuitton bag, you're going to pay double, triple, right? If you want to go to Nobu, you're going to spend $500. Like that is insane to me. Like, well,
and there was the supply line kind of shortages were a thing. We literally had to raise prices or we were going to sell out a product, and the law of supply and demand, and we didn't have the supply, so we had to raise the price. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing, although we're not like jacking it up. We raised it a couple pennies, just to make sure we don't, it was a couple bucks, but
that makes sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I learned. One of the things I learned in school that actually did make sense, but we're kind of all over the place. You're a personal trainer. You're the product, so that's interesting. And how you rate your pay scale is up to you. And I guess also the demand of your clients and how well your reputation is. I would think of your price scale to be somewhere along the lines of a lawyer or a doctor or something, but I don't, what is that a fair comparison?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I was just talking to a client today. I left an appointment just before I got on with you, and I was just telling my client how busy like I've gotten. Like I'm busier now than ever. Like I looked at my calendar for the next 2 weeks. I'm like, ugh. I'm like that. I have like a sinking feeling. Like, yeah, it's great to make money, but like when you feel and know that your life's going to be like all about work for the next 2 weeks, it doesn't always feel so good. Right. But he was saying to me, Dan, that means you got to raise prices. And I'm like, yeah. But yeah, I'm you know, I'm at the high end of the personal training spectrum. Like my clients are, you know, high earners, typically lots of, you know, strong disposable incomes, to wealthy, you know, folks,
CEOs and whatnot.
See, honestly, more finance.
Okay.
Families. So husbands that are in finance, the wives that are the spouses of, and their children and their friends and like their circle, right? So these are people who are entrepreneurs. They're investors. They're, you know, old money oftentimes.
Got a lot of time on their hands, maybe also, or not. Because I found like I was working out more when I was I was basically retired for like 2 years during COVID, and we outsourced everything. We brought a lot of stuff back in house so I'm literally working at a warehouse now again. And so my workouts are kind of slightly suffering. We're still transitioning into this new, we got like a warehouse / store here in my Woodland Park, and we thought it would be fun, but now it's like, fuck, we're having to work a lot more than maybe we thought we were going to have to. But like I said, we're still transitioning. But I don't know, like, I guess it seems like you have a variance of clients. Do any of them like you to like be like a hardcore kind of like militant, like drill sergeant-y type of coach, or do they vary, or do you have what kind of style do you have, and how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I've been at this end of the personal training spectrum for about 20 plus years. And when I say this end of the spectrum, I think there's all types of people who hire personal trainers, right? There's people who are, they're very budget conscious. I think everyone's budget conscious, but like, short term. They're like short term, like, I got to lose 10 pounds, let me hire a trainer. I want to lose 30 pounds, I'm getting married, I want to hire a trainer. Then you have people who I call lifestyle consumers, where like this is, they want someone to manage their fitness, right? Because they're going to do this fitness thing for the next foreseeable future. Like they know that they have to do it, and they want to hire someone to make sure that they're doing it right. It's much different category, those two that I've described, right? The budget, right? The short term versus like tell me what to do, Dan, I'll do it. Tell me how often I should do it. Tell me where to do it, and I'll do it. And those people, yeah, they want results. They want when I say those people who are the longer term clients, they want results. They want program design. They want nutrition. But I found that at the end of the day, what is oftentimes more important is the experience that they have in the gym. When I say the experience, do they enjoy coming back to see you? And if you can nail that, the programming, the nutritional stuff becomes secondary to the experience in the gym. And what I mean by that is, how do they feel? Do they like to see you? Do you have enough conversation to keep them entertained while they're working out? Right. Do they regret coming back? Do they regret the hour? Do they regret the third day of the week? And it's like, the better you can be at making it interesting and fun and the thing that they want to come back to, then you have a client for life in a lot of instances, or at least 2 to 5 years. So you just think about the math on that, right? Let's just say, a trainer's charging, let's just say in New York, average trainer's charging, let's just say $100. Trainer's charging $100, person's training 2-3 times a week, right? That's 2, 6, that's 3, up to $900 a month right?
Wow.
That's about 10 grand or so a year, for 2 to 3 years. So that person's worth 30 to 40 grand to a trainer that can keep them coming back. And it's
Yeah,
not
the
always about results.
lifetime value of the customer. Yeah, so you want to keep them. That's part of it. Entertained, I guess, to an extent. You don't want them getting bored, essentially, during the process. You want them to leave feeling good.
Feeling good, feeling like they're doing new things, they're building new skills, they're just not spinning their wheels, like
Not
they're
wasting
making
time.
progress.
Yeah,
And
progress.
it isn't about results, and it isn't right, because I've had clients before the pandemic blew things up. I had clients for 18 years. Client paid me for 18 years. Think about that, 18 years.
That's
regularly.
amazing. Yeah. Wow.
My average client is with me at least four to 5 years on average.
Wow. That's amazing. That's a long time.
So when I meet someone, I don't expect them to leave in 6 months.
Yeah, most people quit the gym after the first month or whatever, right? So for you to keep them that long, I think that says something. But also, just joining a gym is completely different than having a personal coach.
Yeah, and that's really good. That it is. It's like their hairdresser. It's like their barber. It's like their doctor. It's like you don't quit your doctor.
Right. You having, I guess it's kind of like an accountability partner in the sense also I'm paying you to make sure I'm working out, and you coach me along the way and make sure I'm doing everything right, and kind of maybe give me some motivation and mental tools to keep going and stuff like that, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, over the years, I've realized that the more I can be a value add. So a lot of my sessions, they're workouts, they're catch-ups, they're hangouts in some instances, right? You go for coffee sometimes before or after. But a lot of times they become consultations, fitness consultations. We're talking about what they're eating, how they have been eating, what they could be doing differently to make it easier, to make it better, or to right. So it's this ongoing process of just adding value, right? I'm just always looking for ways to add value and reasons for them to feel like they need me and my services of value to them.
Well, you're a businessman, you're an entrepreneur, you got to provide value so they keep coming back. That's what we do. We have a product, Sheath underwear. You might have heard of it.
Yes.
People love it, but it's you can't just have a good product, because there's other great fitness coaches out there. There's other good underwear companies out there. So then what else are you going to do to make sure that you're setting yourself apart to create this relationship for the long term? Because we want our customers coming back lifetime value, not $30,000 or $40,000.
Soon.
Maybe you never. Yeah, I mean, some of them. We have people that have spent thousands of dollars over the past couple of years. I don't know if they're buying them for their friends, but we get the product, then you do the service, and then just build on that. Anything else you can throw in there to make everything more remarkable, I guess, because you want people telling their friends, most likely, about your service, so. And same with us and our product. We want people telling their friends, but now it sounds like you're a little bit over in high demand. So that might, do you ever think about like expanding and getting people underneath you, or, you know what I mean? Like developing a brand?
Yeah, I did. Prior to the pandemic, I had trainers. So at my current situation at the hotel, I'm the fitness director there. I'm the trainer. I'm the point person when a guest wants to work out. And if, oftentimes people have other requests besides training, right? Or maybe they want a woman, or they want to do something else like yoga or whatever, right? I have other trainers that because I'm in like a, not a, mecca is the wrong word, but like I'm in like the, like a epicenter of personal training. It's called the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and there's gyms and there's tons of trainers and lots of big box, fancy gyms that have been around. And I made a lot of relationships over the years. So I'm able to pull trainers to provide the services that the guests might want. So like I said, I do the training, and then I find trainers for guests that need other services. And that was a nice little business. But it's tough managing people. Especially when you're working full time, training clients, right? So balancing, managing people gets tough when you're like doing 8 sessions in a day, or like, you're busy training your own clients.
Right.
So it's tough. It's a tough balance.
I was curious about that, because you're the director of fitness at the hotel, but then you have your own clients, and that seems like you would not have any extra time in the day,
Yeah, yes. It's tough. I mean, like you make time for what's important, or you block out time so you can handle like administrative stuff. But that does become the challenge, right? Because you want to say yes to everything for yourself. At the same time, you want to make sure that the people that you're setting up with a trainer or a service are getting good quality service. And if they're not, right, I'm the person that they're looking at to fix an issue, right? I got to send an invoice, right, to invoice the client as well, right? So it's like, it just gets tough. I mean, that's one of the things about entrepreneurship, is that it's not just about providing the service once you become the entrepreneur. Like at a job, you just do your service and you take off. When you're an entrepreneur, you're responsible for everything.
All of it. Right? Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah, all the back end.
So be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for.
Exactly. Sometimes I look back at some old jobs where I was just going to my little cubicle and I did my little job and I was good at it. People came to me when they needed reports done, but at the end of the day, I could go home and forget about it. Whereas now it's never ends, and you make decent money, but if you don't have any time left, then it's kind of like the quality of life. It's about being balanced, and I'm still working on that. Do you do anything on the other side of the spectrum? Well, because how do you stay so positive? Because I imagine doing client after client after client, maybe, and I'd be like that sinking feeling you had. Do you meditate, or how do you keep going? Just energizer?
It's intrinsic, man. I just want to deliver. I just want to deliver for people. I've always been not a people pleaser, but like if somebody asks me to do something, I want to do a good job. So when someone hires me, like I get motivated when a client like wants to train. Like nice. It's an opportunity to like help somebody. Like that's how my mind internalizes. It's not about just someone just giving me money. It's about them asking me to help them to achieve this thing. They're like, hey, can you help me? I need to see you at 6 a.m. tomorrow. And I'm like, that means me getting up at 4:30 to get to you by 6 a.m. Let's do it. I'm going to charge you. I'm going to charge you for it. But because I have to value my time.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting up because of the money. I'm getting up because you're going to be there showing up.
Yeah.
Right? Like that.
Like you asked me for help.
I don't know how you give that to somebody. I don't know how you give that to anybody. It's intrinsic. It's in me. It's baked into my DNA. I can't really tell you any other reason why other than that.
I feel like it's people asking. Somebody asks you, and now they're asking you for help. And like with most humans, if someone asks for help, you're going to give them the help. You just have the added benefit. They're going to pay you for that help. Yeah. And you're an expert, and you probably get paid, I would say, probably like the top tier pricing based on just location alone.
Yeah. I mean, I should probably be charging more, but it ranges anywhere from $100 to $200 an hour. It just depends on like where, what time.
Yeah.
you know,
These days, that seems pretty fucking reasonable, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just happy to be where I am, honestly.
and okay, so you're developing your client list, you're growing. Where do you see this going, forward? What are your plans going forward?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm always like in a state of evaluation and then reevaluation. And I looked at myself about a year ago, and I was like, what do I want to do? Do I want to keep doing this? I'm 44. I'm about to be
44.
Yeah. I'm 40, turning 45 in June. I'm like, how much longer can I keep doing this? Not that I can't. I'm just asking self-talk, right? How do I,
Seriously?
how much longer can I keep doing this? And I'm like, you know what? I could begin to transition out and like go do something else. I could do that, right? And spend a year or two doing that, knowing that like I'm going to have an expiration date. Or I could like hit this thing for another 10 years. And I said it. I can hit this thing hard for 10 years. Like, just like trying to crush it, make as much money as I can, smart. And then, but I said, if I want to do that, I need to, add some pieces to my game, like Kobe, like Jordan did in their latest career, parts of their career. I got to add some phases to my game that I hadn't developed, which was the internet. I didn't really have a social media presence. I wasn't doing any online coaching. I wasn't doing classes. I wasn't doing Zoom. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. So the pandemic hit, it blew me up. A lot of my clients went south, figuratively. I wasn't really working. I wasn't really training clients because nobody was working out in person.
Wow.
So I slowly developed Zoom and doing like an online, parts of my game. And then I slowly started to develop my social media, which is how I came across your buddy. Just to put myself out there and develop the online content. Because what I realized is that if I'm going to be in this game for the next 10 years, I need to be built for hiccups like what just happened with COVID, right? And that whole disruption, right? So I need to have the other phases of my business, not just in person. But if I want to scale up my operation and not be dependent on me meeting somebody one-on-one, like I have to be able to scale up my operation in a lot of ways. So, doing classes online, doing, coaching clients, right? So I've been really developing that stuff, and that's something that I think into the next through 22 into 23, I'm just going to continue to grow. I've been doing, like I said, online coaching, but I haven't done any real formal like advertising for it. Somebody asked me, right? Like, because I have to like refine my process, and make sure that like the service that I'm offering is really like down pat. Because when it's time to add 10, 20 people at a time, I got to be able to handle that volume. So I'm still in that phase of just like refinement and development. But it's the online coaching. It's some version of a Zoom product with like.
Do you have anyone else? That's, sorry to cut you off. Do you have anyone that you are is kind of currently doing that you could talk to and game plan with them? Like that's another personal trainer that's doing online courses and stuff. I mean, I know a few people, not like Leo Savage. You probably never heard of him. Maybe you have. He swings a mace. It's a fitness, primal fitness.
I may have seen him.
Well, he created an online course. He travels and does classes, around the United States, just teaching them how to swing this mace. But he learned from somebody else. And I mean, I think that's a different model than what you would have, but maybe not. But just knowing someone that's doing it, or, is easier than trying to figure it out by yourself,
Yeah. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to work with some of the most amazing fitness professionals in my earlier career. When I was over at my corporate, so I was at a corporate gym. I'm not going to say the name, but I was there for about 12 years, and I worked with some of the top professionals in the game. And they've gone on to, have their own businesses and run their own companies and firms in the business. And I have contacts with folks. I've done consultations with folks, who've developed their own programs.
Yeah.
So it's just really, where I am right now is where I should be, which is like making sure that like the product that I'm looking to put out is refined and developed. And it can handle, like I have the systems in place to handle, not just a handful of people, but 25 to 50 people at a time. And that's really where I'm working to.
There was a sweet podcast with Tony Robbins recently. He went on Impulsive, not Jake Paul, but Logan Paul's podcast. And do you know who Tony Robbins is?
Sure.
He's like
big guy.
Exactly.
Voice.
Yes, exactly. He just talked about how he also was doing everything in person up until COVID, never really got on the digital. And then he was forced to go digital, and he has an amazing network of people that probably at his beck and call. And he was able to do these, instead of just doing a 5,000 person seminar, he was doing like 100,000 people seminars, and everyone had their own camera, and he could see them and they could see him, and he really scaled it. And so I guess it was just interesting to hear what you're trying to scale digitally, and he scaled like massive digitally. And so it might be an interesting podcast for you to watch. I was really,
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love him in general, but he was talking about the type of like anti-aging, CRISPR, stem cells, and all these new biological advancements for staying young, fit, longer, having a better lifestyle. You into any of that kind of thing?
Yeah, I am ish a little. And I was just talking with speaking of the Mark Hotel. There's a doctor. The hotel's doctor is Dr. Primus. He's into that. So he's a physician at the hotel. He's into I called it biohacking, but he called it optimization. He used the word optimization. And he's like an optimization junkie. He's got the gadgets, he's drinking drinks, he's got patches on his arms, he's doing and he's a physician. So he and I talking about doing a podcast where I do a podcast and I bring on interesting, fascinating people that I've met through fitness. He's going to be one of my guests to talk about his journey into optimization, because he's heavy into optimization. He goes to like conferences, he meets other doctors that are into optimization. So he's at the cutting edge.
Right.
I'm on the periphery. Like I've done I'm an intermittent faster. I've done bulletproof kind of stuff a little off and on. But this guy, Dr. Primus, he's like into it like crazy. So he and I have a podcast date by the end of 22 to talk about optimization.
So you intermittent fast then?
All the time.
Oh, really? What are your hours?
Yeah. It varies, man. I'll eat as late as 11 p.m.
Okay.
As my last meal, and then because of my work schedule, I usually don't get a chance to eat until 4:30.
Wow.
So whatever that breakdown is what I do.
It's like 16 hours or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe a little bit longer, even 17, 18. I was doing that, but when I take vitamins in the morning, that's my excuse. I don't know. I don't think it's for everybody. Maybe it is. Who knows? But I don't eat I don't like to eat a big breakfast. If I eat a big breakfast, I might as well not do anything that day. But I'm not, like a little bit of oatmeal is what I'll have in the morning around, basically like 8 a.m. And then I'll eat again like at 2 or something. But it's mostly like not eating snack foods. And intermittent fasting, I think really what it does for a lot of people is it cuts out a lot of the excess foods that you would eat when you already ate. You already ate. Now you're just eating because you're bored, like snacking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so what winds up happening to me, right? So if I eat my last meal at 11, let's just say it just happens that way. For sure, I'm eating at 4 o'clock. So if I have my last meal earlier, my fasted window is even longer. But what I find is on those days when my eating window is shorter, for whatever reason, I have a hard time getting my calories in.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah,
you can put your system under duress when you're trying to jam a day's worth of calories into 5 hours. Right.
Yeah, and you're just
I've actually lost a bunch of weight unintentionally just by adhering to trying to adhere to an eating schedule, like, right, eat at 4 o'clock or eat at 5 o'clock, and then if my last meal is, say, 9:30, so it's a crazy long window to, like, it's like almost 20 hours to then eat three. I'm a big guy. I'm like 220 pounds, 15 pounds or so. So, I need 2,900 calories just to, like, maintain muscle. And if I go under, like, so I've lost, like, body fat and, like, gotten leaner just from doing IF. It's not so much the power of IF, it's the fact that I can't eat all my calories in the window.
Right. Yeah, you don't have time.
I don't have time. It's hard.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, but it is power. It's fascinating. It's powerful. A lot of people are doing it and talking about all the benefits, and you increase in human growth hormones and just feeling better, mental clarity. You end up somehow having more energy sometimes. It seems like maybe because you're not weighed down from shit food, and maybe you'll be more conscious of what you are eating when you finally get to eat. Because then if you're intermittent fasting and then eating shit food, that would just be kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, I found that the intermittent fasting made me like it. I'm just so much more mindful during the day. It almost, like, because I know I'm going to eat at 4, I don't think about food. So I just focus on, it's like once you train your body and your brain more so, it's like, hey, we're going to eat in 4 hours. It's like all my energy can then be focused on the task at hand. So if I'm seeing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 clients in a row, that requires my engagement mentally. It's a mental marathon at that point.
Exactly.
Right? When you imagine if you had to do 7 podcasts in a row.
Right. No, exactly.
Right? This is engaging. You and I are engaged. You're not, like, off in the back, sipping coffee while I'm here talking. Like, you're facing the screen. We're engaged. Imagine doing that 5, 6, 7 times a day. You'd be wiped out.
Yeah. No, that's like you said, a mental marathon. I think about people that have your kind of scenario where you're the product, like barbers. You're cutting hair all fucking day, and just or therapists. It's like one after the other. This another dude with their problems, and you got to sit there and listen. And do you ever get tired of that? I think you have to be a people person, and I'm not a people person, but I'm kind of not a people person in the sense that it kind of is. I don't get energy so much from hanging around other people. It's kind of more like I feel like I got to be on, kind of like you were just saying. But some people do get a sense of, like, energy from being around other people, whereas others don't. I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it requires. It's a little bit of acting. It's a little bit of, like, showtime. It's kind of like. I mean, I was a professional athlete for a few years, and it's like when it's game day, there's like a mode that players get into. It's not practice, right? It's not working out, right? Those are different modes. When it's game day, there's a certain, like, mindset that you bring, a certain energy that you bring, because you're on. It's prime time, and my clients were saying to me, like, why are you so upbeat? It's like I never say it, but in my head I'm like, that's what I get paid to do. That's a part of the job.
Yeah.
It's not just to show up. It's to show up. You're paying for a smile. Hey, how's it going? All right, let's go. Come on, let's go. All right. right? Not in like a, fake. And like me, I'm just enthusiastic.
I
I
think
gotta
so.
bring the energy to the session because I can't hey, how you doing? You ready to work out? They're not coming back. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I gotta carry folks sometimes. I gotta put them on my back and I gotta carry them through the hour.
Wow. That's pretty cool though.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I gotta carry them, put them on my back. Let's go. You want to do this
You must
workout?
get something out of that though. Like at the end of the day, it's got to be some sense of fulfillment that you're helping these people. Otherwise, why would you be doing it? Right? It's not for the money only.
I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. I mean, I'll never forget. I was in the Arena Football League, and we were finishing up our season, and maybe like a week or two, maybe 2 or 3 weeks until the season was going to end. And we were like all in our hotel room because the team had us. We were in Michigan, and the team had us in a hotel on the top floor of a hotel. That was like our dorm because we didn't have living situation proper. So we were all sitting around in a room, right, a bunch of 20-something-year-old guys, and we were like, "Hey, man, season's gonna be ending. What are you gonna be doing?" And I'll never forget. Guys were like, "Yeah, I'm a teacher. I'm going back home to." I don't know, whatever. I want to mow lawns. I want to do landscaping, right? Because most guys, they had like odd jobs in the office.
Right.
So the other guy that was from Brooklyn, he happened to be from Brooklyn. He played at Hofstra University. His name was Alvon Brown. He goes, I'm a personal trainer. And I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
This is like in 2000. I'm like, what's that? He's like, basically, I get paid to work people out. I was like, what? You get paid to do that? I was like, what? Like,
that's funny.
I love to work out. I was like, how do I do it? He told me. 3 months later, I was a personal trainer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It made me think of all of the 20-year-old life coaches we have now online. I don't know why I thought of that, but you know how you have like somebody doesn't know what they're doing, trying to tell you how to live your life. I mean, it's totally different because you're like a legit like life coach in the sense that you're improving people's lives through their physical fitness.
I could do it. Tony Robbins better watch out.
Yeah. Don't turn your back on me, brother. But you can look to him for inspiration. I've always gotten a lot from him, and that's I like motivational speakers. I kind of want to one day be something like that because I've read a lot of books and I've adhered to a lot of the principles, and maybe it was all innate in me to be successful one day, but I always give the credit to like these books that I read, like Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Have you read that?
I read that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just some basic do's and don'ts about business, really. I mean, how bad do you want it? Do you believe you can do it? Visualizing. Do you do any do you do visualization at all?
No, I haven't. I've kind of gotten away from that, man. I was
But you used to.
I was in a network marketing business before in my earlier personal training days, and part of the curriculum was the self-help component, and they had us reading so many of these books, and I just loved them, man. They had a book of the month or a book of the week, I remember, and I would just buy extra books. Nice. They were all like Napoleon Hill and, like you said, Think and Grow Rich and a bunch of others that I can't remember. But I just got into the self-help stuff, and I just digested all these books, man. If I was to turn my camera right now, my shelf, my bookshelf is loaded with these books that I read to kind of help me just keep my mind, and I just never got away from it. It was ingrained, and I don't do a lot of practice, but a lot of the foundations have been kind of ingrained into my psyche.
Yeah, I think at some point you stop the visualizing, and now you're already in motion. It started.
Maybe you do it right.
Yeah, because before you start, maybe you don't know what you're going to do, and you can try to visualize where you want to be one day. But then once the ball is rolling, like whether you visualize it or not, you did that. You already did that part. Now you're in the doing aspect, and maybe every now and then go back to it. I try to remember to maybe, because you're never done with goals. It's always you reach one goal and it's the next goal. So there's long-term goals and short-term goals. I used to visualize myself running my hand across the nose of my own private jet, and I could feel like the texture of the logo sheath was on it. And we don't have one yet. And maybe,
that's okay.
But maybe we will, maybe we won't. You can lease them sometimes anyways.
Yeah, listen, you can get there. There's many ways to get there, man. But something you said just reminded me of a quote I saw recently, and I posted on my Instagram, one of my reels. It was a quote that I saw. They said Mike Tyson said it. I don't even know if he did, but they used his image to push the quote. But basically, and I'm paraphrasing, he said that he doesn't dream anymore because that he manifests now. He doesn't dream, but he manifests because dreams dreams don't come true. Like he has way more success manifesting. I thought it was powerful. So the statement alone is powerful, right?
Yeah.
Like manifest, don't dream. But coming from Mike Tyson, who I thought was ironic, who made over $300 million in his career as a boxer at the height of his career, lost it all, went broke, and right now, literally right now, is on pace to make more than he did as a boxer.
Wow. That's badass.
So, I mean, that's powerful. That's even more powerful coming from Mike Tyson saying that, right? Because he could, like many people have gone broke, you never hear from them again.
Right.
And this guy, he's back. He's back in a big way. He's making tons of money. He looks like he's having fun, and I'm very happy to see it. So
yeah, it's good. It's awesome having him back in the scene. I mean, my interpretation of how you explained what he was saying would be that with like dreams, it might just kind of be up in the open. Like maybe one day I want to be rich or whatever, but like manifesting is intentional. You know, you're like, I make it happen. Sure, I think it. Yes, but then you just get after it and get it done. And then it's on to the next. Because once you hit these milestones, I don't know if you've ever checked yourself and been like, oh, all right, I'm doing all right. You know, I did it or whatever kind of type of a scenario. For a moment, you look around and you've made it, so to speak. But you can only do that for like a second, you know, like a minute. Because then, for me anyways, I'm always still hungry for. I'm never satisfied. You know.
Yeah. I mean, my wife says that to me. You know, whenever I tell what my next idea is, she's like, "What? Like another idea?" In my head, I'm like, "Have I led you wrong yet?" But it's like I get what she's saying, and I get what people are saying is that you do got to enjoy. You do have to pause sometimes. You do have to look at, you know, at what cost is the additional thing that you're going for, right? If you're not seeing your kids, or if you're not fulfilling all other parts of your life, then you might not want to, you know, go for that next million or that next business or, you know, whatever. I mean, everyone's got to make their own, you know, self-analysis, but she says it to me all the time. She's like, another thing? She's like, really? Another thing?
It would be nice to kind of just accept I'm good. This is good. I'm doing pretty good. I think that could be nice. I'm not sure. Maybe one day I'll get there, but I still have a long way to go, I guess. And I'm gonna keep shooting for the stars, and maybe I'll hit the moon. You know?
Yeah. But I mean, for sure, man. I mean, look, I think it's important to have long-term goals and, you know, short-term goals, and give yourself room to kind of like fall somewhere in between, right? Like not have to put too much pressure on yourself to have the yacht or the jet, as you said. right? Maybe it's maybe you're able to do a partnership with a firm. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be like the way.
Totally. That's what my wife. That's what my wife was saying. She's just like, we'll just do like the Kardashians. She's like, the Kardashians don't even buy jets, so just you don't want the maintenance issue of owning.
Right.
Yeah, just
right.
But I like what you said about doing your own podcast. I think it's a great learning experience. You meet new people, have great conversations, put yourself out there, and like some people, their trajectory is faster than others, but if you're having fun along the way, I think that's what will shine through and
100%.
ultimately get you where you're going to get where you need to be. This is just one other like little avenue of potentially growing some awareness about who you are and what you do. And it looks like you're doing great things and helping a lot of people. I really appreciate you coming on here and spending some time with me and shooting the breeze.
Yeah, man. It's a fast hour, man. It goes quick, man. And having a good conversation with interesting people.
Absolutely. Very cool. I'm so happy that you came on. Hopefully we can meet up one day if I ever make it out to Brooklyn. But I don't know. If you ever come to Colorado, we'll get a workout in.
You do both, man. We can do a West Coast connect, and then come out to Brooklyn. We got some of the best food in New York City right now. Brooklyn is hot, man. Brooklyn, some of the best wine shops and some of the best new restaurants in the last several years are in Brooklyn.
That's good to hear.
Value. The best value for your money right now is in Brooklyn.
BK, the Nets.
That too. I can't wait to play. You know what? I gotta get my playoff tickets. But the Nets for sure.
Yeah, sure. I used to play basketball. I was going to ask you, but you said you were doing arena football. But I used to want to be a professional basketball player, and it didn't go my way. But I learned a lot of like strong work ethic from just working so hard to try to be average. And it was sports. I really encourage people to engage in sports. I think it's good for you.
Man, it's necessary.
Yeah, especially as a kid. Yeah,
essential. It's essential.
Well, thank you, Dan Flores. Thank you for coming on. I believe people can find you on Instagram at Dan Flores.
Yeah, Dan Flores. Dan Flores Training is my Instagram handle. It's also my Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. I recently ventured down the TikTok rabbit hole. You gotta do it, and that's been fascinating as well.
Is it? You getting a little traction on there?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm still getting my so my Instagram stuff is way more consistent, right? If I post a reel, I'm getting like really good engagement, really good followers. My followers, like I went from like 700 followers to, it's like really hard now, by the way, if you don't know, like the Instagram algorithm is like really hard to like navigate. But I went from like, I basically doubled my following since November.
That is good.
Yeah, right. Just like focusing on it. But like I'll post stuff that does well on Instagram, on TikTok, and cricket.
Oh wow.
And my stuff on Instagram is very like straight up the middle. Hey guys, I'm dead. This is the best exercise you're not doing, right? 30-second reel, some quick shots of me doing a move, right? 2K resolution, my shirt's off, abs out, right? I get 4,000 views, right? 5,000 views, 8,000 views. Cricket's on TikTok. But what I found is that, so I try a bunch of stuff, right? I don't, I'm just going through the process. And I post like reaction videos on TikTok. And I get 20,000 views.
Reactions to what? Like car chases?
To like, no, it's fitness based, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be like a guy failing on a bench, right? Getting crushed by like a bench press, like failing, or like I did a Ronnie Coleman. I was kind of poking fun at, because I would see Ronnie Coleman, like these videos, like people glorifying Ronnie Coleman and like these bodybuilders who lifted like tons of weight, and when you see them now, they're like wrecked.
Oh no!
Right? So So I posted a tongue-in-cheek a video of Ronnie Coleman like loading up like what looks like thousands of pounds on the bar. He's like, all right, baby, lightweight, I'm gonna lift this weight. And then like 10 years later, he's like on crutches. That got like 20,000 people, 20,000 bros like really on me. Like, how dare you disrespect Ronnie?
Truth hurts.
Like, so,
ouch.
So it's like the stuff that like gets a reaction is the stuff that like is like showing somebody getting hurt or making fun of somebody or
it's like the video version of Twitter or something, maybe like where they want controversy, whereas Instagram's not so much controversy, right? Maybe not controversy, but like
well it's the algorithm and it's how people respond to the video. So the more they watch, the more the video gets rated, and then the more of that type of content gets pushed out. So if people like don't. So right, it's about I think it's about what the platform is used to. So people on the platform are used to extremes, right? And you're like you have a very like subtle, like a chill video. It's not going to get the reaction. No one's even interested.
Yeah, you got to be hyped.
Have to be over the top, or it's got to be so like the hook has got to be so catchy in the first 3 seconds, because that's when the viewer stops watching in 3 seconds, which is crazy. Think about that.
Wow.
All right, 3 seconds, they make a decision if they want to watch it or not. So you got to get them in 3 seconds, and you do that by doing something crazy in the beginning.
Have you heard of Mr. Beast?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm learning about the like YouTube and TikTok, because there is a method to it all. You can't just get on there. You got to study it and kind of figure out what works. Otherwise you'll be spinning your wheels, you know?
Yes.
So you're doing what you need to do. You're getting on the internets, putting yourself out there.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm out there, man. I'm messing around.
Yeah. And you got a good look to you, you know, so that helps too, you know, if you're not hideous.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, you know what? I thank my mom and my daddy. I'm just, you know, I'm working what I got, doing the best I can. But yeah, man, it helps to have a good look, man.
Yeah, so work it, stay positive. You read all the books, you know what to do. You're already doing it, but you know, for sure. We're just keep on keeping on. Thank you for coming on. I'm gonna let you go.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us, me and Dan, having a good conversation. We'll see you back next week. Peace.
Thank you again. Thank you.
All right, brother. Have a good night.